My name is Mauricio Handler, and I'm a freelance underwater photographer. I find myself here with a group of journalists that are visiting the BVI, some for the first time, and we're sitting on top of the Chikuzen, which, after not diving it for about 15 years, I realized what a wonderful dive it is. It is the best dive that we have in the BVI, and it is a wreck. It's a refrigeration ship that went down some years ago, but the marine life in it is just simply spectacular, with schools of fish of all type, grunts, barracudas, turtles, sharks, cobias, and it's very nice to be back in the BVI, where I lived for 20 years. So I know the area well, and I am going to say that this is an impressive dives that we did this afternoon. We're all here trying to learn about the BVI, rediscover new secrets, and try and promote next year's Rec Week, which is going to be in the month of June and 2010. And this week is going to be dedicated to diving the wrecks of the BVI all over. We have wrecks modern, old, of course starting from the Rhone, which went down in 1867, to some more recent ones which haven't gone underwater yet, and those will be sunk in the next few weeks. So the BVI, aside from its beauty on land and wonderful people and so forth, it's just an amazing place to come down and explore its underwater world, specifically on the wreck side. I've traveled all over the world in my work as part of a two-man team for National Geographic magazine, and in my travels you get to see and experience a lot of places. Coming back to the BVI, where I lived for so long, was an interesting experience, and I must admit that it's been a positive one, and seeing the wrecks and the marine life the way it is, you get excited about being back in the Caribbean. The BVI is one of those places that it's not just about the diving, it's about the sailing, the anchorage. Every corner that you turn at different times of day, the sun will be different. There'll be a different hillside, a different beach, and it almost looks like you're in a totally different country every time you travel, from Norman Island on the southeast all the way to Anegada on the north. We're currently sitting over the Chikuzen, which lies 7 miles offshore, off the Guana Island northern tips of Tortola area, and we're in the middle of nowhere, so we have a shipwreck in the middle of a desert, and that's why the abundance of marine life that I mentioned earlier is so specific to this particular area. What else can I tell you? That the BVI is not just about diving, it's about people, food, laughter, music, beaches, and a great time.
Hello, I'm Jim Shiner from Rainbow Visions Photography, based here in the British Virgin Islands for over 30 years, and welcome to Rec Week 2009 on board the Cuan Law, the world's largest trimaran. We've just come back from diving the Chikuzen, one of our most exciting wrecks, as it is located halfway between Tortola and Anegada in a sort of a virtual wasteland, and therefore it's an oasis, and it brings in huge fish from all over. It's part of Cuan Law's regular itinerary, but for Rec Week, they make a big deal about it, and it's worth every dive and every moment you can spend on it, particularly afternoon, dusk, or even night dives. And we've just come up and we've been to have experiences with a Goliath grouper that came out of the wreck and was posing for us. And of course the vast schools of barracudas and sweeping clouds of rather large grunts and snappers that carpet the wreck. Other places we visited have included the wreck of the Rhone, the 3 tugs out in front of Cooper Island, and sometimes if things go well, we'll go all the way up to the Rocus and the ancient wrecks that line Horseshoe Reef up in Anegada. Legend has it there are over 300 shipwrecks up there. And while we've seen some awfully big cameras underwater this week, monster housings, huge strobes out on arms, one of the things that I love about underwater photography that digital provides is the ability to use a small point and shoot, particularly with a wide-angle lens adapter and this little secret tip, a UR Pro filter or some other kind of orange filter designed specifically for underwater photography. You don't need to carry strobes, and the beautiful, once it's tweaked a little bit in Photoshop, the beautiful natural colors that occur both for your near subject and your distance. So you get great separation of the wreck from the background. So I would suggest just trying that once and see if you don't enjoy using a nice, small, compact rig. As good a time as we've had this year, we're looking forward to having you join us on Cuan Law next year, Rec Week in June 2010. And if you have any questions about photography, feel free to email me at rainbow@surfbvi.com. Thank you very much. Looking forward to seeing you next year.
Hi, my name is Mauricio Handler. I'm a professional underwater photographer, and I've been asked to give you a photo tip that I have seen over the years to help other photographers improve on their work. One of the things that we tend to forget underwater is that the background lighting has a way of being controlled. We tend to always expose for the subject and get it exposed correctly or not correctly, but one of the things we tend to forget is the background. So you got to remember that underwater, when you have strobes on, your aperture controls the exposure to your subject, but the shutter speed controls the ambient light. So if you get a really dark background in your pictures and you're not happy with it, slow down your shutters. If it's too bright, increase your shutter. Nothing to do with your aperture. But the only way to do this, guys, is that you have to shoot on manual exposure or override your TTL settings. I personally shoot on manual, always have, and I think controlling the aperture and speed to give you accurate exposure to your subject, and especially ambient light, is the only way to shoot. I hope this helps. Just remember, if it's underexposed, slow your shutter. If it's overexposed background, increase your shutter, and you should be good to go. Hope that helps.